morning.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Greetings, salutations. Welcome to the Library Lowdown. I am super excited. I am Theri Ray. I am the current interim director at the library. This is my friend Susan.
Hello.
Susan is our children's librarian, and I'm super excited because we have lots of cool children's things happening at the library. Super exciting. We've had a fantastic week this week, and so we have some craft still out on the table.
We do. We've got a craft going on. We're going to be finishing it up today, but we have been making birdseed ornaments with spring themes. And so let's see, I don't know which camera. There we go. So this is a little egg, and we have been using cookie cutters. It's such a simple craft. The kids have been loving it. Kids of all ages, adults have been coming in and making them. But it's birdseed and gelatin, unflavored, no dye gelatin with boiling water. Dissolve the gelatin in the boiling water, stir in birdseed, put it into a cookie cutter. So the great thing about this ornament is that people have been leaving with a cookie cutter to take home. So they can go ahead and make their own ornaments, or they can make their own sugar cookies with the cookie cutters. But it's super simple. You just have to allow the craft some time to set before you hang it in your tree. So yes, my experiments last Sunday, I making sure they were working right.
Yeah.
Have one hanging in my backyard. So I think the squirrel found it too.
So the wildlife out there does enjoy this.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And I've gotten some great pictures back from our kids and their parents when they've taken the craft home and they've hung it on a tree. I've put those on the library's Facebook page.
Oh, I love that.
A few of them. That has been super fun.
I love it so much.
Super fun.
One of the things that we love to do at the library is keep all of these statistics. And we do that for a variety of reasons, one of which is to find out which things are actually really popular.
Right.
So my understanding is we've had more than 100 young people make, or 100 folks, most of which have been young people,
right,
making these ornaments.
Yes.
Do we have a rough count?
Oh my goodness. You know, I went and bought cookie cutters in packages of 6, and I bought everything that Walmart had, and I have like 4 left, and I want to say I had around 100 cookie cutters.
So we're talking 100 folks making a craft at the library.
Yes,
and we did find more cookie cutters.
We did find we had somebody donate some a good while back, and so they were sitting in the craft closet waiting to be used. And so I pulled some more out yesterday because Enid schools are out today. So we wanted them to, if they were coming into the library, we wanted this to be available. We didn't want to run out. So
love it. That's so exciting.
It's great. I've had so much fun meeting kids this week and getting an opportunity to visit with them and ask them, do you want to make a birdseed ornament? And they're like, yes. So
I mean, who doesn't want to make a birdseed ornament, right?
It's been fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And just being able to sort of stand back and watch the kids and their families making things and doing the crafts together, and it is really so exciting to see the cool stuff happening in the children's area over there. So I'm super excited about all of that. We have another big thing coming up for children.
Yes, next Wednesday.
Hippity hoppity, hippity hoppity.
Hippity hoppity, yes. Our big spring April event is an egg hunt next Wednesday morning at 10. So we have our normal story time at 10. And then, weather permitting, we will be outside for our egg hunt. The little helpers have been stuffing Easter eggs. There are hundreds of them already stuffed.
So cool.
I know. It's going to be so much fun.
So
and if weather doesn't permit us to be outside, we can egg hunt in the library.
Fantastic. I was thinking about that this morning. As earlier this week, I was thinking, oh, it's time to get out the summer, the warm weather clothing. And then Oklahoma has said, no, not yet. So I was thinking, we do have a contingency plan for our egg hunt.
Oh, yes. The egg hunt will happen.
Fantastic.
Yes, and so it just depends on where. We'll see what Mother Nature has in store, and we'll probably make that decision, early that morning.
Yes.
It won't matter. We're starting off inside. We'll have a story time. We'll have our craft that's available and for kids who don't want to hunt for eggs. And then we'll do our egg hunt for all those kids who do want to hunt eggs. And crafts will be available too. So fun week.
I hear a rumor that there may be a guest appearance.
I don't know that I've heard that rumor, but that would so be fun.
I believe that there
would it be
may
an animal variety?
I believe it may be a special guest of the animal variety.
Appropriate for this time of year in the spring?
Appropriate for this time of year in the spring. So I am super excited about that.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait.
Yeah, we have wonderful partnerships that allow us to do things like that, and it's super cool to have folks help us out with making things more fun at the library. I love it so much. Now, your Easter collection, I understand that many of our Easter books are currently checked out.
They are. I had a hard time finding some even to bring this morning because we had some new ones in the collection and they were out on our children's new book display and they have been snapped up. But yes, I found two. Jan Brett's an amazing author and her book, The Easter Egg, is just beautiful. So yes, if you want to ever come and look at this book, it's fabulous. She's a prolific author and illustrator, and she's wonderful. Her artwork is amazing.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It's so beautiful.
It is. She has an amazing website too that's got so many great ideas for classrooms, libraries, families that go along with her books.
So cool.
So yes, I've got that one, and then oh my goodness, Jan Thomas is just funny. Her books are always funny. And so this one is Easter Bunny's Assistant. And her books always have toddlers and pre-K kids laughing, probably older than that too. But
I mean, I would probably giggle.
I do
would
giggle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie about that.
Yeah, no.
I do giggle reading these books.
I love children's books.
They're so much fun.
And I know we call them children's books, and that's usually
Right.
because the sentences are shorter. They take a smaller time to read,
And they have illustrations.
and they have beautiful illustrations. But sometimes, quite often, actually, I've found there is great wisdom to be gained from books designed for a younger audience.
You know, there is, you learn about these when you're going through your master's program, as you know, getting your MILS. When I got my master's in education in school library media, sometimes people call these easy books because they have large illustrations. They assume they're easy and they're for kids. The designation I prefer is everybody books.
I like the everybody
because
designation.
they are for everybody. And sometimes the truths and the wisdom that can be conveyed through a picture book are really timeless, and they apply to all of us in all generations. In fact, there is actually one of the books I read recently. I'm trying to think what it was for. Oh, it was one of the Sequoia books on the 2022 master list.
Yes.
But it was about a kid going to middle school, and the middle school teacher used a picture book in English class. It was either every day or every week. I think it was every day because it was 180 books.
Oh, yeah. So that's a school year, 180
was
days.
reading picture books in the middle school classroom. There is actually a national group that you can find out there. A picture book a day, or everybody book every day, and classrooms with reading lists for helping our kids to learn about friendship and kindness and empathy. And these picture books, they're talking about what value it brings to the classroom and the impact it has on kids, even in middle school, to have a picture book read to them that helps them to learn something.
I feel
love
so
that.
Validated
yes, I
by
want that.
Because that's one of the things that I did when I worked in the middle schools.
Oh, really?
I used picture books.
Yes.
Because you could read a picture book in a relatively short period of time, right? Like the introduction to class. One of the times, because I taught some STEM classes, so one of the times we were talking about what is a scientist.
Yes.
And there's a great picture book called Ada Twist, Scientist. Yes. I mean, it's talking about how this young girl really has this scientific mindset from the beginning, like from before she went to school. And so I was using this as an illustration to encourage kids to be scientific thinking and, you know, like design a thing and try a thing and investigate and ask questions.
Yes.
And that is what makes you like having that scientific mindset,
right?
Not some big degree.
Yeah, it's curiosity and being willing to try and have it not work. Right. I don't say fail, because sometimes the things that don't work are all part of the process to the thing that does work.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, one of our newer books in the library in our Everybody section is Rosie Revere, Engineer.
Love it.
And it's
I think it's from that same series.
Girl. I believe it probably is, and it's just amazing, and it's so much fun. And it talks about her where this didn't work, and they show this sidewalk and all of these things that didn't work on the way to the thing that did work.
I love it. I love it. I love those.
So yeah, picture books are for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. When I was at OLA a couple of weeks ago, I was in Tulsa, and the day after OLA was over, I stayed over an extra night in Tulsa, and I spent 4 hours in Barnes and Noble just reading picture books. That's all I did.
It's fantastic.
And it went so fast. I was like, I need more time.
Yeah,
so picture books are for everybody. They're everybody books, not necessarily easy books. They're everybody books.
Right, right. True story. All right, wonderful.
What else?
I'm so excited. Okay, so it is National Poetry Month, which is one of my favorites because I love poetry. I love poetry in all forms. I do love, like the Shakespearean sonnets, and sometimes that you sort of feel like you have to translate, from Shakespearean to English, even though, But I love that. I love like slam poetry and blackout poetry and freestyle poetry and haikus, and so I love all of that. I love the creativity of it. And we're having National Poetry Month at the library. There is a book we are trying to make, and we are inviting folks from the community to come and be part of that by writing a poem or submitting a poem, and that can be done.
I've seen several people sitting out at the table. Like, there are people at that table frequently. And they're writing, and then there's the box right next to them. And I love that. I can't wait to see what people are writing about.
Yes, it's so exciting, and those can be submitted either in the library and it's a locked box, I believe. Like
right.
You just slide your thing in there. Nobody else gets to see it until we publish it, which is super cool. I love these books that we're working to put together, to have books written by our community.
Yeah.
I think that is
I've got
so
something
exciting.
fun about that too.
Yes.
When you're done talking about poetry.
So poetry, I have my handy dandy paper here. Anyone may participate.
Good.
Poems must be your original work. That's always super important.
Yes.
The age categories are 8 and under, so little kids.
Oh, I've got a plan for them too.
Oh, good. 9 to 13, 14 to 18, and 19 and up. Those poems need to be submitted by April 30th, which is the end of the Poetry Month. And those can be emailed to Margot, our adult programmer, and her email address is mholmes, and I'll make sure that it appears, so that people can see that. It's mholmes@enid.org, or things can be dropped off at the front desk. I am super excited to see.
After our spring week next week, when we have our egg hunt, I think the week after, our craft that week is going to be something about making poems with words. We have these kinds of cool displays.
Yes, like this.
And those are a little bit little for little kids to handle.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking we're going to have kids arrange words to make something that words they like. And we're gonna experiment and see what happens. I'm kind of
That's
excited
fantastic.
about it.
I'm very excited
like,
about
what kinds
that.
of words will stand out to a 2-year-old if mom or dad or grandma reads them a bunch of words? Which ones do you want to put on your
Oh, that is cool.
and just
I love
kind of
it.
see. I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to look like. But usually, if I just kind of have a little bit of an idea, oh my goodness, the kids and their family members, they take it and run with it
They're
and do
so
amazing
creative.
things.
Like, it's so creative.
Yeah.
Like, it's great to be able to just sort of say, here is a thing you can do, and then watch the kids take it to places you never imagined.
Yes. Yeah, it is so fun. So, speaking of kids and
Yes.
doing amazing things and having things in our library that children or people in our community have created. So I shout out to a first grade student from Drummond. The Drummond, one of their grades, if I remember right, I think it's first grade. Drummond first grade classes, Mrs. Bowles and Mrs. Roberts, I think, their classes have been making books.
That is cool. I love it.
Each of the students was responsible for creating a page in the book. Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to this student and her mom about it. They were super excited about it. And I was like, I would love to have a copy of those books in our library, because then you guys could come to the library and check out a book that you were a part of creating.
And that is
they were
so
like,
important.
really? They were so excited.
Yes.
So yesterday I ordered. The fabulous mom sent me information, and so thank you for doing that.
That's so
I
cool.
ordered a copy of each class's book to put in our library. I'm so excited.
That is so cool. The public library is truly a community space, and so to have folks come in and be part of creating things that become part of our library, or like doing their arts and crafts, and sometimes we get to hang kids' stuff up in the library, and that is super
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, like, it is so important to have the community with us and interacting and doing stuff and really leaving their mark on the library, because that's part of what makes it such a great community space.
Right. I'm so excited. I mean, Madison, shout out to Madison. Thank you for talking and visiting with me and all the information and all the enthusiasm. Just, is so excited about the fact that something I helped do could be in the library. Yeah. And it made me so happy. And I just thought, oh, what a great opportunity. So looking forward to seeing what those Drummond students have created.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
That is super cool. And I love all the super exciting, happy stuff. But I need to mention something that maybe isn't quite so happy, but super, super important. And I think that's one of the other things that the library does is we love to be happy and we love to do cool stuff. But sometimes there's important issues that people can use information.
Absolutely.
So we provide information, and
Yes.
people who are interested in that information can come and get that information. And it is April, which is National Poetry Month. It is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And that's a thing that affects many, many people's lives. And we want to help people make decisions and learn how to do things that will keep themselves safe. Or what do you do after? How do you pay attention to the warning signs? And speaking of community partners, the YWCA is coming, and they are coming on April 25th to do a sexual assault and relationship violence awareness presentation for teens. As teens are starting to figure out, what does it mean to like somebody, and how do you start these budding relationships? And I remember when I was young, the phrase was we were going with somebody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that phrase.
And my grandmother would always be like,
Where are you going?
Where are you going? But what does it mean? And we're like, I have no idea what that means. We're just going together. It means I like them and they like me, and we hold hands or whatever. But as you're starting to learn about those relationships, and you're trying to navigate that, sort of what is good for me emotionally is a component that sometimes I think we don't talk about enough. And and when people do things that emotionally hurt us or physically hurt us, like, how do we deal with that, and how do we call that out, and what do we do? And if we start to, so I think those are all super important things, and it's not a happy-go-lucky, feel-good, great thing.
No.
But I think
it's
it
a
is
serious topic that
right.
we have to be cognizant of. And I will say I'm the mother of 3 daughters. And I will say that all 3 of my daughters can relate some kind of experience that I just can't even believe they should ever have had to deal with.
Right, right.
And it's so prevalent out there. The statistics are staggering and they're scary. And I think we have to be aware. And we might want to say, oh, my kid doesn't date much. My kid, blah, blah, blah. It still happens.
Right.
And teaching young people about their rights with their own body is super important.
Right. And you have daughters, I have sons, and my sons are grown. And I would love to tell you that this is a girl issue, but it's not. It's not a girl issue. It's an everybody issue. And my sons have experienced some things that I wish they would have never experienced. They have also, I am very proud to say, been some of the young men who have said to other folks, we don't do that to people. Like, we don't hurt people like that.
Yes.
And so I think that it's a conversation for everybody about how do we navigate these relationships without doing harm to each other. And I think it's super important, and I'm so grateful that the YWCA is coming to help us give this presentation and get information out. There is a bulletin board up in the library in the teen section with these beautiful ribbons that you can take a ribbon and wear those and help bring awareness. And you can. There's a way to leave little messages for people to, like, tell people that, like, you hear them, or, like, you wish that bad things didn't happen to people, or, whatever little message that you would like to leave. And I think that that is just another example of the library building community and being a place where discussion can happen. And we love the happy-go-lucky. We really do. I love the excitement. I love all of that. But I also really love that the library is a place that people can get information that empowers them and enriches their life.
Absolutely.
And helps them solve problems.
It's a heavy topic, and if there are places where people can talk about that, and hopefully it's before they're ever in a horrible situation.
Absolutely.
And if that difficult conversation can prevent one bad situation from occurring, then it's worth it. And everybody is important. Our young people are so important.
They are so important. And I mean, like, I watch the young people, and I remember somewhat, like, what it was like to be middle school, high school, and sort of finding your way in the world. And, there's this, just all these possibilities are open to you, and, like, just exploring and learning and figuring out who you are and what you want to do. And I hope that people get to do that in ways that are safe and empowering and encouraging, and that we are building ways for people to encourage and support each other. And I think that, so yeah, very important.
Yes. Glad it's happening. I hate that there's a need for it to happen. But I'm glad that the YW is helping us with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Grateful to all their work and everything they do in the community.
Yes.
It's truly an extraordinary organization.
It is. It
really is.
So if I do believe that they, like, also could use volunteers, and I mean, I think there's ways to get involved if you are interested in in the kinds of things that the YWCA does. It's all about empowering folks and, like preventing violence and helping folks sort of restore themselves if they've had an instance with violence. And so, yeah, it's a great organization.
What else?
What else do we have? I'm looking at the junior and the mini mad scientists, and those were super, super fun.
Yes.
Do you have something super, super fun planned for April?
Well, of course,
I'm sure you do.
but I'm not going to give it away yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Come and
That's
sign
fair.
up.
That's
Call the
fair.
library and sign up for our junior or mini mad scientists. Mini mads are for 3 to 5 year olds. Junior mad scientists are for elementary school students. And we have limited space, so it's something you have to call and sign your kiddo up for.
Yeah.
And parents stay with them. So that they can help their kids explore the topic that we're dealing with and talking about and experimenting with.
Yay,
so it
fun,
was
so
our
fun.
first round was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it again. So coming up the third full week, not next week, but the week after, Wednesday and Thursday.
The 20th and 21st is that. We have a button making thing in the makerspace for teens.
Oh, fun.
On the 18th, and that we have a button maker machine, and I don't know exactly how it works yet. But Megan is going to be she's ready to go, ready to make buttons, and like they get to design their own button.
Oh, nice.
And I believe they're the round.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Very 80s looking, maybe.
Yes.
That's what comes to my
But
mind.
they're
anyway.
still kind of a thing.
Because the 80s were cool. Everybody
Right,
was, right?
I know.
But so they get to make their own buttons, and then I'm super excited about that. I love. The little kids are super creative. The teens
are amazing.
They're amazingly creative.
They really are.
And some of them have mad art skills, like just super
I know.
cool.
It kind of blows me away
Yeah.
because I don't have those mad art skills. And when I see those teens and some of the things they just sit down and draw and do, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. How'd you do that?
I can tell you that in order to be able to do that, we're talking hours and hours and hours of practice. These are folks who have dedicated themselves to developing this craft, whether it's like pen and ink kind of thing, or kids with markers, or some of them have really special expensive markers that are really cool, and they design all these things, but that is hours and hours and hours of practice, which is super cool. I mean, like the young folks, they have their interests and they pursue them with
great passion, and energy, and dedication.
Yes. So that is super cool. I'm super excited about that. I'm trying to think. We just sort of chatted. The Teen Writers Club coming up on the 15th.
Okay. Next week.
Yes. And this is one that I'm super into because I love to encourage kids to write. And this one is going to be poetry.
Oh,
I'm so excited. So if young folks are interested in meeting with other writers, collaborating with other young writers, honing their skills, practicing, trying, working together, helping each other edit, that sort of thing, Teen Writers Club, that's the deal. Get hooked up with the Teen Writers Club. There have been some fantastic young folks involved in that. And like most teen programs, it's sort of, like people are busy this month, but then they're here the next month. And so, that's how that goes. Because teens are so busy. They're super busy.
They are.
They have so much stuff going on.
Yeah. You know what I love about poetry? I was thinking about this earlier when you were talking about National Poetry Month. So, we love to watch March Madness at my house, the NCAA March Madness basketball
I'm
tournament.
aware. I grew up in a Big Ten.
Okay, good. So
I do.
So, so this last weekend, this past Monday night was the final, and so all the hoopla and pregame hype is going on, and they did a pregame piece that had been pre-recorded, and it was poetry.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was. There was
That
a
is so cool.
narrator, and then they'd flip to clips of the basketball tournament or to players or whatever, and then it'd come back and narrated some more and more poetry, and it was just extraordinary. And I was just so excited. I've seen that before, several sporting events, big sporting events where they've used that format and that art style to present something. And I get excited about that because it shows that, no, poetry can be used as we talk about our sports or our leisure or our recreation. And it crosses barriers and it brings people together in different ways.
It does.
You might not be a basketball fan, but you might love the poetry part. And so it was just super fun.
Or maybe you might be a huge basketball fan, and then all of a sudden there's this poetry thing, and you go, I kind of liked that. Like, poetry can be for me too. It's not all, lamenting lost love or, trying to woo somebody or, whatever. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do with poetry. It's so cool.
Yes.
So music. Like I have a tendency to remind folks, I used to do this a lot with kids, your favorite song
is poetry.
Is a poem.
Yes, I would use that also.
Yes.
Teaching poetry in the elementary schools, I'd take a song and I'd play it for the kids. Do you know this song? Oh yeah, we know that one. We know that one. Do you know that's a poem? What?
What? Yeah, no, that's a poem. Enid Author Fest is also coming up.
Yes.
I'm super excited about that.
We're doing lots of celebrating with what people in Enid are creating.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, and the Author Fest is all Oklahoma authors. So there will be some from out of the area.
Okay.
I'm super excited about one of them, and I don't want to do like big name dropping, but there might be some.
Oh.
There are always excellent authors at the Enid Author Fest.
Okay.
There is one that I believe is on the list, and I hope they show up because they're one that when I was at the school, I wanted to do a author visit with this gentleman because he has written some amazing books for children and middle school, like that middle school, high school age, and also adult books on some of them are on some pretty intense topics. Some of them are super uplifting and empowering, and I would love to have him come talk. So I'm hoping that he actually shows up.
Okay, so now I haven't gotten to see that list of authors, and so now I'm like going to try to convince Theri as soon as we're done to tell me who that is.
Well, so I will tell you that as we were rearranging displays, and Enid Author Fest is coming up. On the slat wall is a group of books written by authors we anticipate being here.
Okay.
So there are some of those authors' books up on the slat wall, and folks have asked if a book is on display, can we check it out? Absolutely.
Yes.
That's why we put books on display, so that it helps, show off what's in the collection, and if we're talking about things like the Author Fest, right, and all these local authors, there isn't this book was written by somebody in Oklahoma section, right? So those are spread out throughout the collection.
Right.
So in order to sort of draw attention to, here are the folks from Enid Author Fest, we put up a display that says Enid Author Fest and then pull those books from all over the library so that they're on a display so folks can find them.
Right. So are you saying that this author that you're very excited about might have a book on the display?
Yes.
Okay. So I need to go back to the library and check out the display immediately and see who fits the criteria.
Now, and I'm going to say that that you're a librarian, which means that you are curious and you pull information from various sources to try to make connections, right? That's one of the things we do with Reader's Advisory, right? Folks come in, they're like, I don't know what to read. And our first questions are, what are you into?
Like? What are you interested in?
Yeah, what have you read? So we start, so you're a librarian. You are going to, I think you will figure it out.
Okay.
I think you will look at the wall and go.
I think she just issued me a challenge.
I got it.
Somewhat, maybe kind of a test.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
up for it.
I think you'll pass. I think you'll pass the audition.
All right. Totally excited.
I am so excited. We have so much cool stuff going on at the library. And Miss Susan and I could sit here and chat all day long.
All day long.
But we should not.
I know. I have birdseed ornaments to make
We
with
have
kids.
things to do. Yes, there's all
Things to
kinds
do,
of
getting
stuff
ready
going on
for
at the
next
library.
week.
Yes, so please do come and join us at the library. We will have good times. There will be stuff for everybody. Yeah, it's super great, and we can't wait to see you in the library. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.